This time on Woody's Garage, something that sucks into Schwinn.
Here we have a Craftsman Yard Vac, 4.5 horsepower. Don't know the year, figure it's kind of old. I picked it up on the side of the road. Wasn't going to do a video on it, but I'm kind of seeking help now. There is a problem with it. I took off the blower housing and stuff. I'll show you that stuff. This is the plastic vac pickup that goes on the front. And this is a blower housing. Note you don't see anything, looks like it's hitting or anything like that. And this is the side chute. And right now it's making me wish that I had started this video from the top, because everything was together. Now what happens is when I got it, I pulled the pull start and I heard clunk, 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 and it definitely wasn't coming from the engine. And that's why I pulled off the blower housing stuff. Now what this guy has down here, or I should say this, no, I'm sorry, the spark plug was in, clunk, clunk, clunk. I took out the spark plug and suddenly no clunk, which I thought was very, very odd. And now I'm thinking that maybe just the fact that it had compression in the flywheel and the momentum made the clunk. Now it's got two of these. Let me bring this around. These are called flail blades here. They sit on a pin here. The pin goes up through the aluminum here, and then it's got this clip that holds a pin that goes across the pin. So two pins, I'll show you what those look like. And this thing just flops back and forth like this. So when you pull, it's like coo, 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 which I think is the noise I'm getting. So I thought, well, it looks like I can tighten this, but no, you can't tighten that. It's just a pin with no threads. I'll show you. This is it right here. And this is a pin that goes through, and you can see that the hole is there. So you line it up, put it back in like that, and you put in this pin. I figured maybe these were broken, but apparently not. And then you put the clip over like this. It slides over to keep the pin in place. Kind of weird. It's all sloppy and stuff. So I want to try to make it so it stops clunking like that. If anybody has any idea, let me know. Oh, and by the way, I duct taped up those flail blades so that I could see if it would start, and it started right up and there was no clunking at all. So it's definitely in the flail blades. That's a bracket. So as it goes around, like so, it'll go bang and then bang, bang, and bang. And it really, you know, by looking at wear and stuff, it doesn't look like it's been hitting too hard. But when I picked it up on the side of the road, there was a sign that said it needed some work. But should work well or something like that. And there was nobody around, so I couldn't ask. Yeah, I got both of them out. That's why it's not making a noise. This one looks like it's got a little bit of banging, but that could have been from me. I'm just pulling the clip off. That's exactly what it was. So I don't know if like this edge has worn. This edge right here. I don't understand the whole setup. It's bizarre. Why it clanks. Well, here's today's side of the road find. It's a Schwinn Del Mar. I've always wanted an old one of these, but hell, a newer one for free is pretty good. And it's a cruiser. Looks like it needs a new tire strap at the very least. I saw the people there, they're like, just take it, you know, that kind of attitude. Get it out of here. It's an aluminum gooseneck. Rims are not rusty, which is great. Everything else is rusty. I love a chain that needs oil. Oh, really gets me going. Single speed. See if we can get some air, at least in the front tire, and see what's going on with the back. Tube stem kind of centered there. No idea what these take for pressure. Front has a leak. Oddly enough, it looks like the back one holds air. With a broken rim strap. No matter what you do, you get oil all over the place. Missing a seat post bolt. This chain was so stiff it didn't even want to roll around the sprocket. We'll let it sit a little bit, we'll get the wheels off and take a look at them. When I loosened up the front wheel, it was pinned like this. It was that far off crooked that they tightened it up. I mean, we used to do this when we were kids, put them like this. You know, I drove by this thing and it was on its side. And I said, oh, that looks like a cruiser bike. I wonder if it'd be worth picking up. And as I drove on, I said like, ooh, what if it's a Schwinn? And I drove back and they had set it back up. And it was a Schwinn. And like I said, they could like, take it, just take it. I couldn't find my bicycle one, so I just used the motorcycle one. And it's so much easier. Okay, let's take a look at that tube. Yeah, this one was kind of tough to find. It's right under my thumb. Seems it's always on the ribs. So you take this thing and you kind of try to get rid of the ribs and scuff it up a little bit. They never say get rid of the ribs. They always just say to scuff up the rubber, but I think the ribs would keep it from sealing well. I just had to go out and get more patches the other day. And I decided to maybe start keeping the rubber cement in one of these baggies to help so that it doesn't go hard on you. Because every time you need it, it seems to be like that's the way it is. Well, the bearings in here feel like hell. This barely moves. So I think we're going to take off these nuts and grease up the axle. Okay, so you loosen these two, one on each side. Then there's another one inside, and this is the race that holds the bearing. This is just to hold the race, and I'll show you how to put it back together in a second. We'll see if we can get that bearing out or what the deal is with the bearing. I don't really know. So this is what you got. You got that outside nut. There's another nut that holds it onto the bike out here, but this one holds like the race in place. And then the bearing is here and rubs against this, and this goes inside the bike and rubs up against that race right there. And they actually feel like they got grease on them, which kind of makes me feel like, oh, they're just that cheap that they don't want to roll like that. But we'll get some grease on them and we'll put them back together. There's a better look at the race. I gotta say, it's nice too to just take off one side and leave the other one exactly where it is. Then you don't have to, you know, try to get everything in the middle, etc. Okay, these can be finger tight. Just grab hold of the other one and just make it so that there's no movement up and down. And these feel good now. So I'll crank this one down and just tighten the two on the side. They don't have to be really cranked either, but just good enough so nothing's gonna move. So actually, that's not quite true. I haven't done this in a while. And what you need to do, I have one of these thin, really thin wrenches that goes inside here and holds that inside nut. And then you snug those two together so that you have enough play. Because otherwise it's kind of hit or miss. You back it off a little bit, you turn this in, and sometimes it's pinching it a little too much. Okay, so I loosened the two outside nuts so that they feel pretty good. And that's moving nice and smooth. Now I want to put the wrench on the inside, hold that nut, and just tighten this one down on it, and we should be fine. Yeah, that's exactly it. Sorry I didn't set up the tripod. But it's like, yeah, hold that one and then just tighten this one down a little bit. And you see you got no side to side in it. It's real smooth. Not as smooth as I'd like though. Yeah, that's more like it. Just a little bit more. You can feel it. Okay, back to that tube. Okay, I was going to hide the fact that I screwed up the patch. As you can kind of see, it just like was right on the edge. It needs to be further over here. And I think, hopefully, I'm going to let it kind of dry out and try to re-prep it. The hole's bigger now. And see what we can do to save it. And we got the back wheel off. And guess what? It also has a leak. I'm so good at fixing tires. Okay, let's get this off and see if we can figure this one out. So this one's not quite as obvious, so I'm going to have to stick it in the water and see if I can find some bubbles coming from somewhere. And take it from there. Yeah, we found the bubbles, and guess what? It's like exactly where the other one was on the other tube. Isn't that weird? It's like they must have gotten totally flat and someone might have sat on it and just kind of pinched the tube in the same place. You know, it started going forward and the tube just went like that. So we got another one. Well, success with the back one. We're fixing the strap. I put a piece of tape underneath and I'm going to go all the way around with a piece of tape, and you'll never know. It'll work fine. I didn't try to salvage that. I just put a piece of tape on it. It'll be fine. I want to do the bearings on this. However, I've never done a step brake like this. So I don't know where to start. I'll catch up when I get there. Alright, I loosened the two nuts on the outside, and already it's exposing its guts. I assume it's going to be about the same on this side. Just want to make sure we don't lose anything, so I'll take off the brake side. Front wheel and tire is all set. Well, I think it's all done. I got both tires patched. I greased the front and rear axle. I'm going to put a link to doing the back coaster brake because I had to watch a few videos to do that. I wiped it down with some Marvel Mystery Oil, obviously lubed the chain and everything, and it's ready to go. Well, today I decided to try my welder out again. This is about the 4th time I've tried it. Go ahead, laugh. But there's definitely, I've made some progress. I mean, you can see some places where it actually kind of looks like, hey, that almost looks like a weld. You know, I mean, it's totally solid, but it is ugly and stuff. I cleaned everything up, like, quite a bit, and I was more patient. You know, I've been slightly frightened of the welder, I guess. This is a welder I got. It's the Harbor Freight cheapie. I don't think it's a 90, it's a 100, or the 120. Yeah, I don't know. But this side I think even came out even better. I mean, that's not touched up or anything. It just, you know, I just got the slag off with a wire brush. So it's definitely gonna hold. It's definitely not smooth. But yeah, I feel like welding is now fun. I'm not scared of it, so I think I'll probably get better. And I'm also thinking that now that I feel a little better about the welding, I might do something a little more attractive with the seat. You know, put in some kind of bracket or something instead of that. Although that thing's not bad. Don't know.